Hi, this is Adam from Carpe Omnis Games, designer of No Honor Among Thieves, here to talk about staging a heist in the game. Now, when you stage a heist, you choose an objective, and you talk it over with other players and see if anyone else can help you out with that. Or you can try and go it alone. Oftentimes, heists are difficult, and you can't do them by yourself. Now, how you accomplish a heist is you pick an objective, because you're going for the reward on that objective. For example, the wealthy merchant has 6 coins here. The master goldsmith has 10, but it's more difficult. It's got 3 defenses. Let's use the merchant as a quick and easy example here. So, the merchant has 2 defense cards in front of it. In this case, they are the alert guards and the militia. To get this money, you need to get past both of these defense cards. Now, each line on the defense card, each line connected by black ink in the background, is a different way of getting past that defense. So for example, the alert guards you can get past with 2 lies. It's easy to lie past them. They're military people, they're guards, they're looking for physical threats. They aren't expecting a con. Or you can fight your way past them with 4 muscle. It's more difficult. Oftentimes, you can muscle your way past a lot of different defenses, but it usually takes more than any other skill. Or you can get past it with 3 stealth. Now, each of your characters has icons of those same icons on the cards in the middle there. So the operator, for example, has 1 stealth and 1 tinker. That's the blue and the purple icons. The engineer has 1 muscle and 1 tinker. That's the red and the purple icons. The pickpocket has 1 lies and 1 stealth. You need a combination of characters that will equal or surpass the defense challenge that you're going against. Each of these lines is called the defense challenge. So, for example, if I had the pickpocket and the courtier, that's 2 lies, I could put them both up against the alert guards. Now, you can only have 2 characters going up against 1 defense. If you invite other people with you, say this player has the courtier, this player has the pickpocket, everyone together, all together, not each individually, can only have 2 characters total going up against an individual defense. So you need to find what combination of 2 characters with everyone else at the table can get past this defense. Now, once you've figured out who you want to go on a heist with, you negotiate over how much each of you is going to get of the reward. So for example, you could say, okay, I'm sending a lot of people and you are only sending 1. I will give you 2 coins of this and I will take 4. Or we're both sending equal amounts. I'll give you 3, I'll give you 3, we'll split it evenly once this is over. And you have to come to some sort of agreement on how to split the loot before you go on the heist. And once you've done that, once you've figured out who is going on the heist, whether it's you alone or you and someone else, or you and 4 other people, could be, you lay down your characters in front of the defenses that they're taking on, and then the complications phase happens. During complications phase, each player, starting with the player who launched the heist, is given the opportunity to play scheme cards or use character abilities to influence the heist. Or on your turn in complications, you can play scheme cards of the active type, scheme cards of the complication type, or use character abilities of the active type. So any ability or scheme card that you use can only target characters involved in the heist. You cannot say, well, on my turn, I'm going to kill this random involved person. It doesn't work like that. You can target characters in other people's crews on your turn overall, but not on your turn during complications. During complications, it's only about the heist that's happening on the table. So, for example, On Alert is a scheme card that gives a character a defense challenge plus muscle or stealth until the end of the heist. It gives you a dice worth. So you roll both dice. That was a bad roll. So you roll both dice and pick which result you want. 1 dagger plus 1. So this defense, or if someone who doesn't want this to succeed plays this defense gets +1 stealth. Now it goes around. The next person has a chance to respond. If they aren't involved in the heist, they can ask for money to try and negate this. Or if they are involved in the heist, they're going to try to negate this. For example, they might play Don't Breathe. Exhaust a character and give it +2 until the end of the heist. So exhaust the operator and give it +2. Now, if you're using these skill tokens to keep track of this sort of thing, keep track of just the difference between them. It doesn't actually, between the defense challenge and the characters, it doesn't actually matter how much each side has, just that the character side is 1 up. And remember that this is applied to the operator in case the operator gets taken out. Because if a character is arrested or killed on a heist, they're immediately removed from it. Now, once an entire round of complications has gone around without anyone playing anything, then the heist is successful. The thieves get past the defenses, take the money, and everyone walks away happy, except for one little thing. It's time for the moment of truth. If you've gone on the heist with someone else, both players take a scheme card from their hand and put it face down and reveal them at the same time. Or if that card is a moment of truth card, then it's resolved. If it's not, then they put it back in their hand and nothing happens. If you work with other people, they get a little glimpse of what's in your hand. That's just how it works. Now, moment of truth cards have the moment of truth label and a little blood splatter around the edges. Some of them are innocuous. For example, side job. If you are not betrayed, gain 2 additional coins from the bank for completing this heist. Oh, that's kind of nice, actually. Some of them are a little more vicious. For example, traitor. You have betrayed your fellow thieves and claimed the prize for yourself. So you've gone through all of this. You've gone through complications. You've negotiated with your fellow thieves. You've done everything working together to get this money, and now you're taking it all. Now, what a betrayal means is that the player who played the betrayal gets the number on the betrayal card instead of what they negotiated for. So the person who went with them gets something. So everyone who didn't betray gets 1 coin before everything else is split up. But then the player who played the treacherous moment of truth card takes the value of their card, if they can, before the rest of the wealth is split up among all players. Now, if multiple betrayals happen, then the players who played the betrayal cards split the coins as evenly as possible between their cards. If multiple betrayal cards are played of different values, for example, betrayal and traitor. Traitor has a value of 8, betrayal has a value of 6. Then each player takes the difference between their card and the lowest card before they're split up. So traitor player would take 2 from, or if these 2 players were going against the wealthy merchant, the player who played traitor would take 2, and then the remaining 4 would be split up between the 2 players involved. So that would go 2 and 2. So one player would get 2, one player would get 4. Now, there are some cards that counter betrayals. If you are betrayed and you have played during this moment of truth phase the paranoia card, then you take up to 5 coins from the share of each betraying player. But if you aren't betrayed, then you owe them money. There's the safe ground card, where any betraying cards played during this heist have no effect. There's the plans within plans card, which there's only 1 of in this entire very thick deck, where if any player betrays you while you've played plans within plans during that same moment of truth phase, they are ejected from the heist, and their shares split up between all other non-betraying players. Now, betrayal is a little complicated when splitting it up in different various specific situations. Most of the time it's straightforward. Now, it could be that no one betrays anyone else during the moment of truth, in which case you just split up the money based on what you negotiated at the beginning of the heist. That's easy. whether or not a betrayal happens, at the end of the heist, you remove the successful defense, or the successful objective and its defenses. Discard them off to the side, and then lay out a new objective. So for example, in this case, the river yacht comes out, defended by hooded figures and cunning traps. Now, at this point, you put out however much money the new objective has on it, and you add one additional coin to the other objective. So the Master Goldsmith had 10 on it, now it has 11. In this way, objectives that are more difficult and not really worth going after for however much money is on them become more worthwhile as the game progresses. Now, if you fail to accomplish a heist, when you fail a heist, you roll on the consequences table for that objective. Each objective has a list of possible consequences for failure across the top here. You roll once for each defense that failed. So let's say players were going against the wealthy merchant and the militia and the alert guards, and they successfully got past the militia, but they failed on the alert guards. You roll once on that table for the alert guards. Now in this case, I rolled a 1 dagger on the table. That is discard a scheme card. Now, the player who has characters on that defense faces the penalty. If there's more than one player on a defense, only one player faces the penalty. So roll off and determine who has to discard a card, or have their character be arrested, or have their character be exhausted, etc. Player who rolls the most number of daggers wins. If you both roll an X, then you both have to take the penalty. Now, one additional thing to note when figuring out the consequences for a failure on a heist is that some defenses have a symbol here saying that they are a city watch defense. Right there in the middle. These are the forces of law and order in the city, the police. Not just your regular guards that a merchant hires or the traps or whatever. These are the watch mage, the watchmen, the inspector, that sort of thing. When you fail against a city watch defense, you roll on the failure table for the jail rather than the objective. Now, one thing to note is that the failure table on the jail gets worse after honor is broken. The game gets more vicious, all of the thefts and gang wars that are happening get more deadly, and the city watch starts cracking down whenever they catch you. Now, it's not all bad. You do get 2 coins from the bank for each defense that you got past. So if there was one player's characters going up against one defense and successfully bypassed it, but the overall heist was failed, that player gets 2 coins. If there were 2 players, each with characters on that defense, then they each get a coin. Now, if you backed the Kickstarter or you bought the promo pack and you have the Animal Companions characters, they have the ability to be a 3rd character on a heist, or the Lookout has the ability to be a 3rd character on a heist. The Lookout and Animal Companions do not count for getting money from successful defenses on a failed heist. You need to have someone with an actual ability to grab cash for you. So every defense that you successfully got past is discarded and replaced. If the defense that replaces it has money up in the corner, then that money is immediately added to the reward. And now, whether you succeeded or failed, if you go on a heist, the other objective gets a coin. So after you've failed an objective and replaced defenses and taken all your money, put a new coin on the other objective and add to that reward. Now, one final thing about the finishing off an objective and negotiating for objectives, actually. Some objectives have an icon in the upper corner that looks a lot like this. It's a square golden card thing with a 1 in it. That is a draw from the treasure deck and can be negotiated over as the coins and whatnot. So for example, the river yacht has 6 coins and 1 draw from the treasure deck. If you're working with someone else, you can say, okay, I'll take 2 coins from this, but I want the treasure card. You don't know what the treasure card is before you draw from the deck, but you know that they're all good. And there are a lot of hidden agendas that have to do with treasure cards. For example, the fence, you get money for every treasure card you have. Or the collector, you get money at the end of the game if you have the most treasure cards in a lump sum. Another thing to note is that some objectives have special rules associated with them, which will be listed under here and explained further in the rulebook. So, for example, the river yacht. Any character that is exhausted on the river yacht heist is killed instead. So if you send a character in here and something exhausts them, you use an ability, that character's killed. So you probably don't want to do that. Or if someone else exhausts your character, they're killed instead because it's on the river. If you're exhausted, you can't swim. Get it? So, now, in addition to going on a heist against one of these objectives, you can also go on a heist against the jail. Now, the jail always has this set of defense challenges, which is each line is just 2 of whatever. So 2 lies, 2 muscle, 2 stealth, or 2 tinker will get you past the jailer defense. If you succeed in a heist on the jail, you get no money as a reward. If you fail on a heist against the jail, you don't get any money either. What you get as a reward if you succeed is 1 of the characters from the jail. You can take them and put them in your crew. You can, in that moment, choose to fire someone and replace them with that character if you have 4 characters in your crew and you can't fit another guy in. But like, for example, in this example setup I have here, both the veteran and the ghost are in jail. Those are both really good characters, really expensive characters too, but if you break them out of jail, you can get them in your crew for free. You don't pay the recruitment cost when you break a character out of jail. There's one other thing that happens with betrayal. When any player betrays another, the Thieves' Code of Honor is broken, and it remains broken for the rest of the game. You cannot repair the trust that has been destroyed. When a betrayal happens, flip the graveyard mat over to the no honor side. The rules change. Characters that are exhausted twice are now killed instead of being arrested. And all of these abilities marked in red can now be used. Before the Thieves' Code of Honor was broken, you wouldn't dream of using the Grave Robber to get money whenever a character dies. That just wouldn't be right. After the Thieves' Code of Honor is broken, anything goes. The Assassin starts killing people. The Magus starts stealing scheme cards from other players. The Pickpocket starts stealing coins from people coming back from heists. The Stick-Up Crew starts holding up other players for their stashes. The game gets more dangerous. You can play the game without any betrayal whatsoever. Work together on heists. May the best thief win. It all really comes down to who negotiates the best and who has the right tools and is able to fit them into the right locks and get past all the complications phase and achieve their hidden agenda cards to the best of their ability. You can play that way. Or you can play things a lot more viciously. Break the code of honor, betray each other, don't trust each other. You have to work together on some heists. They're impossible to achieve otherwise. But you can't trust anyone because everyone else is a thief. They are breaking the law already. They are already stealing, and they're going to steal from you because there's no honor among thieves, my friend. This is one thing that everyone knows. Now in the next video, we'll talk about winning the game.